that Smasher does have red hair, but we said, well, I mean, Smokey could have gotten tomato sauce on him and could have turned him red. So there's a good chance that it still could be Smokey. And we had a lot of good reasons why. All right, so let's go ahead and we are reading chapter 8. So you should be listening, you should be looking at the screen so that when we talk about it, you know what we're talking about. Chapter 8. The daycare was a disaster. The tables were covered in half-eaten food, spilled milk, and sticky red jam. Looks like the snack snatcher was here, I said. Not the snack snatcher, Hurrah said. Little kids and lunch, always a messy combo. This is where the kindergarten kids eat. It looks like there was more throwing than eating. Hurrah shrugged. That's little kids for you. She was right. When Sophia eats dinner, most of it ends up in her hair or on the floor. The rest of the daycare wasn't messy. Board games and toys were stacked on shelves along the walls. A bright red and green carpet stretched in one corner near bins of books. Hurrah and the other kids came here every day before and after school while their parents were working. We were working too. Not schoolwork, detective work. We had a witness to interview, Lindsay, the daycare assistant. I had done a lot of thinking since yesterday. Most of it about Hurrah. She said she didn't see the snack snatcher because she was eating licorice in the closet in the kitchen. But she did hear a noise. She thought it was Lindsay from the daycare looking for her. If Lindsay went into the kitchen looking for Hurrah, then maybe she saw the snack snatcher. A large woman in a food-stained apron came through the door on the far side of the daycare. She started wiping the tables with a wet cloth. Hi, Lindsay, Hurrah said. Lindsay jumped and nearly dropped her cloth. She smiled when she saw us in the doorway. Hurrah, you startled me, Lindsay looked to me. Who's your friend? This is Myron. We want to interview you. Interview me, Lindsay said. She checked herself in the mirror in the dress-up corner. Is it for TV? Should I get my hair done? Not that kind of interview, Hurrah giggled. Myron and I are detectives, and we need to talk to you. This sounds serious. What did I do? It's not what you did, but what you saw, I said. What I saw? When? Monday morning before school, I said. When you went to the kitchen looking for Hurrah. I was hiding in the closet, said Hurrah. She stared at a piece of mustard sandwich on the ground, eating licorice. Ah, yes, Hurrah and her morning licorice. Lindsay's voice grew very serious. You know your mom doesn't like you eating candy in the morning. I know, but I can't help it. It's so delicious. That's why it's best to save it for lunch, but this doesn't answer Myron's question. Lindsay turned to me. I'm sorry, Myron, but I didn't see anything in the kitchen on Monday morning because I didn't go into the kitchen. I heard all the racket and poor Mrs. Peterson screaming, but I had my hands full in here with the children. Besides, I saw Principal Rayner run to the kitchen, so I thought it was all taken care of. You're sure you didn't go into the kitchen, Hurrah said. I know I heard someone while I was in the closet. It wasn't me. Lindsay started wiping the tables again. Sorry I couldn't be of more help to you detectives. The interview was over. If Lindsay didn't go into the kitchen, then she wasn't a witness. She could not help us catch the snack snatcher. Hurrah and I turned to leave. Wait a minute. Lindsay stood up straight. The cloth dangled from her hand as if she had forgotten it was there. I did see someone leaving the kitchen first thing Monday morning, before anyone else arrived. I pulled my notebook out of my backpack. Can you describe them? Lindsay shook her head. Hard to say. I didn't get a good look, but I remember the person wore a black jacket with a big red ball on the back. I wrote the description in my notebook. Sounds like the logo for Meadows Fireballs, Hurrah said. The Meadows what? I said. The Fireballs, you know, the professional soccer team. I didn't know. I don't pay attention to sports. Maybe that's who you need to interview next, Lindsay said. She went back to wiping down the tables. Hurrah was already on her way outside. Where are you going? I asked. Outside, before recess is over, she said. without slowing down. It's chilly out there. I ran to catch up with her. What does the weather have to do with our case? Hurrah stopped at the doors. What do people wear when it's cold outside, Myron? She bounced on the spot like she had to pee really bad. Jackets, I said. Now I knew why she was in such a rush to get outside. You want to look for the kids wearing Meadows Fireballs jackets. One could be a suspect, Hurrah said. One could be the snack snatcher, I said. Exactly. Let's go jacket hunting before it gets warmer. All right, so we're gonna pause there.
One more chapter after science.
So hold on, I may read one more chapter just because that one was really short, but I want to add real quick to our plot mountain. So
I know a new character.
Hold on. Okay, so what can I add to my plot mountain? Walter, what can I add?
A new character, Mrs.
Okay.
Lindsay.
Mrs. Lindsay.
So she went with the kindergarten kids, and then she heard someone coming out, and they were with the jersey from the soccer team.
Okay. So can I add that? You think I could add that as an event right here? As a falling action event? Because it's something that happened, right? So I'm going to add that Mrs. Lindsay saw someone coming out of the kitchen wearing a soccer jacket. Okay, so that's all I know. All I know is she saw someone coming out of the kitchen wearing a soccer jacket, right? I don't know who it was. I don't know anything else yet, but that we just know they came out wearing a soccer jacket. Yes, Tristan, what else? Is there something else I can add?
Alicia, to the characters. Alicia.
Oh yeah, his sister. Okay. Anything else that I missed? Okay. All right. So we still don't really have anything else necessarily narrowed down. So we don't have our suspects narrowed down really any further anymore. We're still kind of between Smasher and Smokey. So we will have to keep reading to find out. And I think there's 3 more chapters, if I remember right. I think there's 3. So real quick, I want to talk about our plot mountain real quick. And then what we're going to do is I do want to read one more chapter today because that one was kind of short. But I think we're going to read it at the end of reading, okay? Because I have an assignment that I want y'all to do that's going to be for a grade. So I want to make sure we have time to get that done. And then we'll read another chapter at the end since chapter 8 was pretty short.
Miss Chandler, okay, since we're done with reading now.
We're not done with reading. Not done.
Is it gonna be on season?
Not done. Yes, not done with reading. Hold on. Pay attention. Keep focusing. Keep focusing on me. Okay, so let's talk plot mountain real quick. So when we're looking at our plot mountain, okay, when we're looking at our hook, we are looking at that attention getter. You are looking at that, what is happening in the story? What is said? What is done that's making you go, oh, okay, that's something that I'm going to have to know. So like in our West Meadow detective story, right, we know that it said at the very beginning that everything was new and that Myron doesn't like new, which is then said again in another chapter when he has to go into Mrs. Chu's classroom, which is also brand new to him, and he is not about that. He is like, nope, I'm not about that. Not about the new. I don't like it, right? Then we have our characters, setting, and problem. So our characters is who's in the story. So just like we've been doing, we keep a list of all of those characters. Then setting where the story takes place. Where does it happen? Then our problem is what happened. That's the oh no moment. So our problem in our West Meadow Detective story is that someone stole the morning snacks and they made a mess in the kitchen. So now we're trying to figure out who did it. Our rising action is all of the events that are going to lead up to the climax. So these are the events that are making the problem worse. They're not helping to solve the problem. They're making it worse. So we know, and it's not even also to making the problem worse, but it's also really important events that are happening. Events that you're like, oh, I probably need to know that because it's probably going to come up again. So like Myron having super hearing. Well, that's important for us to know because we need to know that the reason he's so good at being a detective is because he has this great hearing. And then we have Myron and Hurrah are going to solve the mystery. Okay, well, that's an important event. We know they're going to try and figure out the mystery. Myron has his first suspect, Glitch. She wasn't in class and she was angry. That's important for us to know. Glitch went on the suspect list. Smasher got added to the suspect list. Then we know that there's a hole in the school in room above room 15. Go Lily Miles. And then Glitch hired Hurrah and Myron to solve the case, which was important for us to know because then we know that Glitch didn't necessarily do it. And then our last thing was that the snack snatcher had struck again. Okay, and they came before the school was even open. So those were our rising actions. So if you remember me saying, when we're reading chapter books, when we're reading those longer books, you're going to have a lot more rising actions and falling actions than you are when you're reading picture books or when you're reading shorter books. You're going to have a lot more events. You're not going to have just one or two. You're going to have quite a few. Like this is 12 chapters. We're not just going to have one or two events. We're going to have a lot of different events that happen. Then we're going to have our climax. This is when the problem is at its worst, okay? This is when it's like that, oh my gosh moment, okay? If y'all remember, if you were at Winter Wonderland, Mrs. Pardo said that that's what she tells her second graders. She was like, that's that, oh my goodness moment, right? So that's when we found out that Myron actually found a clue. He found red hair in a photo taken by Glitch, and then we know that this red hair could belong to Smasher. So that's our, oh my gosh, we actually found a clue. Here's our moment. We know that the problem's probably about to get solved. They're getting closer to figuring out who the suspect was. Then we have our falling action. This is when the problem starts to get better or solved, okay? So we know they just got another clue. Mrs. Lindsay saw someone coming out of the kitchen wearing a soccer jacket. Well, that's a good clue and a good hunch to go on because they're going to actually be able to find or figure out who was wearing that soccer jacket.
It could have been.
Then we have our resolution, okay? Resolution is the problem is solved and the story ends, okay? It's just, here's what ended, here's how the problem was solved. It started, the problem was this is how it was solved, this is how it ended, okay? So what you're gonna do for your independent practice is, I have typed up a mystery story. It's a Christmas mystery story. Annette, let me explain this and then you can go to the bathroom. It's a Christmas mystery story, okay? And you are going to do a plot mountain for it, okay? It's pretty short. It's not very long. It's only 3 paragraphs. And you are going to make a plot mountain for that story. So